Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel Akers, and today I wanted to talk to you about the different types of gauged wire. So when we're doing jewellery making or making sculptures, whatever you're using the wire for, you want to make sure that you have a variety of sizes, but you don't need to go crazy right at the beginning. If you're practicing, and let's say you're following one of my tutorials, I will give you the gauge of wire that you need. Often the wires come with a gauge on them, but they also have like a millimetre measurement on them. So I'm going to show you the different gauges and really what you kind of might need in the beginning, just to start with. I would recommend, so basically if I show you a couple of things to start with, this is silver plated copper wire. So everything comes in copper. So this is our copper wire. And then you get silver plated, you get antique bronze, you can get rose gold, and I think you can get gilt, which is a gold colour. And there are other wires that are all kind of different colours like black and pink and what. I don't use those. Personally, I prefer just the really natural coloured wire, but you can get whatever you like to start with, whatever you want to practice with. But basically, they will come on a reel like this, and this one says 20 AWG. And that means Americal Wire Gauge. So I just will talk about the gauges of the wires. So a 20 gauge is approximately 0.80 millimetres, so not quite a millimetre thick. This is the one that I basically use for almost everything when I'm making my jewellery that I'm wearing now. That is basically a really good one to start with. And then what you need is a slightly thinner gauge to then wind around this. So I then go for a 26 AUG. So interestingly, the higher the number, the thinner the wire. So this one is 0.4 mil. I wouldn't recommend going less than this because it's so thin. It breaks so easily. It goes up in two, so you can get 0.2 mil, and the 0.2 mil is very, very thin. I don't use it for very much at all. There are things you can use it for, but when you're just starting out, it's quite a tricky thing to work with. So I recommend you want a 20 gauge and a 26 gauge. Now I've got here the bare copper. This one actually I think is, what's it called? Anti-tarnish, so it won't age and change colour too much. You can get bare copper, which you would then dip in a solution of liver of sulphur, which I may show you at some point. I will try it out and give it a go, but you have to buy bare wire for that. So this bare wire, and there's anti-tarnish. I like the anti-tarnish because at the moment, if you get silver, if you get the antique bronze, you don't want it to be changing colour as you wear it. So what I would say about the copper wire is it's really, really delicate, and it's much more pliable. It's much softer than the other ones, because basically when you go to move on to the silver wire, which is this one, let's see if I can just undo it. So this is the silver wire. It is much more harder to bend, so it's actually a bit harder on your fingers, because I think because it's coated, I mean the only thing I can come up with is that it's coated copper, so it actually strengthens it and makes it a little bit harder. So that's the silver. That's also, so I've got 20 gauge and 26 gauge in each of these. I am going to show you some others just to give you an idea, but the 26 gauge and the 20 gauge are what you basically need to start with, and it does shoot off the reel like that, so I try and keep it tightly coiled and bent around like this. If you want to purchase these, I actually have a link in my description, and it will take you to where you can purchase these items, just to help you out, make it easier so you don't have to go searching for the different wires. So you're welcome to click through and have a look at that. So I've shown you copper, shown you silver. We also have rose gold, which is just slightly paler than the copper colour. It's quite a nice one to use. But what I want to recommend to you is pick a colour to start with. If you love silver, just pick silver and get a couple of gauges and have a practice. So we've got antique bronze. If you can see the colour of that one, my favourite is antique bronze. So that's what I started with. And I did buy a few other colours, but if you're just practicing, you don't want to waste the wire and you don't want to waste your money. So this is a big reel because I buy in bulk now because I make a lot of stuff, especially with my sculptures. But these are generally, the smaller reels are the ones that you're going to get. So again, we've got 20 gauge and 26 gauge, but they do come in other sizes. We have, the lower the number, the thicker the wire is going to be. So this is antique bronze. This is a 16 gauge, which is 1.25 millimeters. This one's good if you want to make a bracelet, perhaps, because it stays in its form a lot better. So you could go for a 16 gauge. And then the other one that I really like, I'm going to do a tutorial for you quite soon, so look out for it, using probably the 18 gauge or the 20 gauge to make a beaded bracelet. This one's really nice because it still looks really delicate, but it is easier to hold its shape. So if you're just starting out, I would suggest possibly getting 18 gauge, the 20 gauge and the 26 gauge. All the rest you can experiment with later. We've got 16 gauge, but also it goes right up to a 5 millimeter piece, which you can use for a chunky necklace. And yeah, it ranges right the way from 0.2 millimeters to 5 millimeters. I wouldn't suggest going the thicker stage at the moment because this is really all you need. So hopefully that will be helpful for you to show you what you need to get started. But like I said, pick a colour, silver, copper, antique bronze, choose one, get maybe 3 different gauges and have a bit of a practice and a play around. So I hope that's helpful, and I will be back shortly with another tutorial of maybe how to make something. So thanks for watching.